really stood out to me is when I got sent the photo of the women's group. And when I looked at the photo, she was sitting on a chair and all the other women were sitting on the floor. The floor was carpet, but she was sitting on the chair and all the women were on the floor. I'm like, oh, so you think these women are beneath you? Because I would never host any type of seminar with women for me to be on a chair, for them to be on the floor. You're the sidekick. You're her sidekick. Like, you are her lapdog. You are there to hold her hair up when she's getting her makeup done. You are there to hold her bags when her heels are too high and she doesn't want to hold everything. Okay? You are there to fight her battles on her behalf. You're her sidekick. You're her lapdog. Oh, and you're also her therapist. When she's going back and forth with that guy that you told her to leave alone multiple times, she calls you for an ego boost. Women use ego boost too. It's not just men. She calls you for an ego boost. And once you boost her ego and tell her how amazing she is and how it's his loss, when he texts her and they're back on good terms, yeah, you don't hear from her again. You're a sidekick friend. You don't have much importance. You're just there as a decorative piece. You're like the bow on the tree. She's the tree. You're just a bow on the side of it. And a lot of women, unfortunately, are in these type of friendships. I personally feel like this. This is just me being honest. I'm not saying friendships between women and other women don't exist. They do. But I think they're very rare. Just like I think romantic love is very rare. I think true friendships amongst women are very rare. Because for women, the problem is a lot of women live in a perpetual state of comparison. Okay, in a perpetual state of comparison and in a perpetual state of insecurity. It doesn't matter if they're young or old, black or white, perpetual state of comparison or perpetual state of insecurity if they're not healed, right? So they can't really have a friend that triggers them. They can't have a friend that makes them feel inadequate. That's why I say a lot of times if a woman wants to grow, you're going to have to be separating yourself from women a lot because they're not going to let you. They're not going to let you reach a level where you will now trigger them. They don't want you to reach a level where you remind them of what they're lacking or where they used to be. So a lot of women like to keep the women around them at the same level as them. Women want us all to be the same. You can't dare be different. If you dare to be different, that's when they team up and attack because women want us all to be the same. So when you're a sidekick friend, your girlfriend likes the fact that you don't shine bright. She likes the fact that you're her shadow. She likes the fact that people know that you're kind of just there to protect her and fight for her and encourage her, but you're not really that important. She's still the queen bee. She's still the queen bee. She's still the toxic queen bee. There's two kinds of queen bees. She wants to be the one that takes up all the space, for better words. She doesn't want you taking up her space. Like, she can take up the whole seat and you can just be sitting below her on the floor. There was a time I went to a church, a prophetic church, and I had a feeling that the first lady was a narcissist, right? I had a feeling she was a narcissist because narcissistic women are extremely insecure by nature. So I know she would always give a face or turn her body in a certain way. Her body language would change when a beautiful woman would get on the stage for prayer. That's when I knew she was a narcissist because she wants to be the only attractive woman in the room. She wants to be the only woman in the room that takes up space, right? So the moment a woman gets on the stage with very high heels, with her blazer, looking like a president's wife, she always had a problem with that because that's her role, right? I knew she was a narcissist when there was a private women's group in the church that I got invited to. And I don't do groups, so of course I never went. But when I was sent the flyer via my cousin that sent it saying, oh, I'm going to go to the women's group. Do you want to come? I said, first of all, I don't do groups. That's one. Two, I don't do women's groups because women want us all to be the same. So if I shine in any way, it's going to be a problem. So I don't do women's groups because that means I have to be a photocopy of every other woman in that room, and I'm going to lose my individuality. So I don't do women groups. But then what really stood out to me is when I got sent the photo of the women's group. And when I looked at the photo, she was sitting on a chair and all the other women were sitting on the floor. The floor was carpet, but she was sitting on the chair and all the women were on the floor. I'm like, oh, so you think these women are beneath you? Because I would never host any type of seminar with women for me to be on a chair, for them to be on the floor. Because a lot of these women want every woman that's around them to feel lower than them. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with humility. There's nothing wrong with, well, when I say humility, I mean the ability to be teachable. Okay, I'm not talking about people being able to spit on you, and if they can't, they say you're not humble. I'm talking about the real biblical version of humble, okay, where you're teachable and you can take counsel, right? So when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. So she likes women who are inferior to her, and she likes sidekicks. That's her thing. You know, she has guard dogs, you know. She had a lot of guard dogs in there. One of the worst things you can do is give up your sidekick role. And when we hear the word sidekick, we always think about friendship. You can be the sidekick in your family. You can be a sidekick in the workplace. Everybody's work that they don't feel like doing, it always ends up on your desk. Yes. You are always the colleague that fills in for the colleague on vacation, but your other colleagues, for some reason, never get picked to help hold down the other person's position while they're out. It's always you. You're the sidekick. They throw their trash on you. They dogpile on you. You're the sidekick employee. Now, when a woman decides to be a sidekick to another woman, and I'm going to say a woman decides because now I'm going to start changing the tone of my messages, where I'm no longer going to allow both men and women to not take responsibility for the roles they play in situations. You can't say that a woman made you a sidekick. You have to accept being her sidekick. Do you think a woman can come in my life and make me a sidekick? That would never happen because I would never pick that role. I would never accept her offer letter to be that for her. So you have to accept being a woman's sidekick. We're not going to blame her because we're all adults. So we don't have to accept what people present to us, correct? We're not going to live our lives constantly pointing fingers. We need to point the fingers at ourselves and ask ourselves, what in me made me so insecure that I wanted to be her lapdog? Okay. I'm saying it with love. Okay. Now, when a sidekick friend decides that I have my own mind, my own opinions, my own views, my own styles, my own talents, I don't want to be in your shadow anymore, that's going to cause problems. Now, mothers who have daughters, fathers listening who have daughters, watch your daughter when she plays with her friends, whether it's in the playpen, at the barbecue, in the pool. Pay attention to if your daughter has a friend that is trying to make her the sidekick. And the minute you see that, when you have one-on-one with your daughter, make sure you have a conversation with her that you are the main attraction. Okay? You are the moment. Don't allow anybody. Listen, just because you're the moment doesn't mean the other friend isn't the moment. She's the moment too, in her world, in her reality. But in your reality, you're the moment. Because a lot of times, this stuff starts very young when it comes to women. When you see a girl and another girl play, one of the women is already trying to create some type of hierarchy where the other friend, it's like they'll be playing together and she'll say, okay, I'm going to be the princess, you're going to be the horse. And she makes her girlfriend the horse and get on all fours and gets on her back. No. As they grow into teenagers and adults, she's going to become the sidekick. Okay, because it started early. So because a lot of women live in a perpetual state of comparison and the need to be the center, they tend to do these things in their friend groups. When I look at friend groups, I'm like, okay, queen bee is a mentality, right? When I think of the word queen bee, I don't think about it the way other women see it. I think about queen bee as in you're the queen of your life. You rule your life. We talked about this in the feminine power class. You rule your life. You rule your experiences. You're self-mastered. So your life is going to go in the direction that you work for and the direction that you want it to go in. That's what I think when I think about queen bee mentality. Like if I work for it, I can get it. Blair Waldorf style, I'm going to get straight A's and make sure that I get into Harvard. Okay, that's the queen bee that I'm talking about. But there are some friend groups where women are only looking for sidekicks. Like they are only looking for lapdogs. They are only looking for the cheerleader friend, right? I have been in about 2 of those type of friendships before. And if I'm around a woman and I see she's trying to little girl me, and I see she's trying to put the assistant label on my forehead, I get away from her because this is my show. This is my show. That's not arrogance, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to put me in some type of role so you can feel like you're in charge. And you can be in charge of your life, but not mine. Those are those friends that try to control their friends' lives. Kris Jenner was talking about how she had a friend tell her, oh, well, you know, the relationship that you have with your kids, I don't really like. How dare you? How dare you? Tell an adult woman that pushed out about how many 6 kids how to mother. But when you have friends that put you in the sidekick seat, they start treating you like you're a child. That's a problem. It's because women battle with so much internal insecurity that even in a friendship, there can only be one. There can only be one of us that's the best. Only one of us can have success. That's why I say I'm not a big advocate for female friendships because I know how they work. Unless a woman is very ascended and she encounters another woman that's very ascended, it's going to be a middle school styled friendship. I remember there was a time my mother was on the phone with her friend, and after they get off the call, I'm like, Mom, that lady is not your friend. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, this lady is like, every time she calls you, it's all about her. That's not friendship. You're like her lapdog. You're her therapist. Every time she calls you, it's because she needs some type of emotional support from you. That's not a friend. The reason why I don't have friends is because a lot of women don't know how to be one. And at my level of intelligence and wokeness and spirituality, I don't have time to have anything in my life that's not reciprocal, that's not reciprocated. My energy, the same way I'm giving it out, you have to also return it to me by your actions. And a lot of women are not doing that in their friendships. They're playing these weird power games. Some women are in friendships where they're playing power games. You'll even see that in Gossip Girl. When Serena started to step into her power, Blair always had a problem with that because Serena was the sidekick majority of the time. So anytime it was time for Serena to shine, Blair got offended by that. Because Serena, you're the dumb blonde. Just sit in the corner and look pretty. You're the dumb blonde. You're not allowed to make life work for you. You're the sidekick. I'm the main kick. We see this on reality TV with Jen and Evelyn. Jen was the sidekick. But anytime Jen wanted to do something for herself, Evelyn had a problem with it. And is it Evelyn's fault? No. Is Evelyn the bad guy? No. Is Evelyn the villain? No. Because Jen, you're a grown woman. You made a decision to be another woman's lapdog. I'm not going to put the blame on her. I'm not going to put the blame on her. When Drea, as much as I like Drea, was trying to make Malaysia and Brandy the sidekick friends, Brandy was like, hell no, I'm not going to be your sidekick. If you do something that I think is wild, I'm going to tell you that. And if you don't like it, then maybe we can't be friends, because I can't be friends with someone where I'm a yes man to them. Drea didn't like that, so the friendship ended. She wanted yes men friends. You're the sidekick. You're the buffer friend that people invite when the last invite canceled. So they're like, oh, just call Ashley instead. She'll come. You're the friend that they call on the day of the birthday dinner. You never got an invite. But they call you 2 hours before and ask you if you want to come, because in reality, they just want more people at their birthday dinner. Do not adopt the sidekick role. You are the main kick. You are the main attraction. It's your show. That's your mentality. Don't let anybody sidekick you, or little girl you, or little boy you. Okay?